United Nations Secretary-General António Guterres is in South Africa and he will address the G20 sherpas meeting in Sandton today. He's also expected to meet with President Cyril Ramaphosa before heading to Lesotho. For more on this visit, we speak to SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo. Kaya, thanks for stopping by. So it's been quite busy for South Africa, taking over the presidency of the G20. We recently had the United Nations Development Programme Global Leadership Retreat here in South Africa. And now we've got the Secretary General who's here. Seems all roads are leading to SA.
Well, undoubtedly, Sakina, these are very interesting times for South Africa. And we know that with Mr. Guterres, quite a lot is expected, where he's going to meet the high-level leaders in South Africa, from the President to the International Relations and Cooperation Minister, Ronald Lamola. And we know that for him, what he's trying to underscore is that the G20 is under South Africa's leadership. So all the priorities in terms of the issues mainly affecting the global south, South Africa should really take a lead. But second, you go back to that very key message that he had for the G20 leaders in Brazil, where he said these are very powerful economies. You know, they carry economic clout, they have the diplomatic, leverage. So they should really use that in terms of making sure that they lead in terms of tackling climate change, the conflicts that we see, the geopolitical instability that we see as well. But in the main as well, we do know that Mr. Guterres, for example, the issues around the Pact for the Future, where he's emphasizing the issues of the global reforms, whether the UN Security Council itself, but also the financial architecture, where he's really said on numerous occasions that it's outdated, it's unfair. So those are issues that really expect him to really just touch on right here in South Africa.
And of course, with South Africa's presidency, it is also marking a point for the global south to really assert itself and get its message through in the G20 formation before handing over that presidency to the US next year.
Absolutely, especially because, for South Africa, they've been very clear in terms of emphasizing issues around equality, sustainability, but really addressing all these issues, but also really just taking the baton from Brazil in terms of the issues around the eradication of poverty, issues around the reforms when it comes to the financial institutions, because a lot of countries in the global south, they still do bear the burden of the exorbitant borrowing cost. So it's really going to be interesting to hear as well in terms of the geopolitical issues with the conflicts underway in the DRC, in Sudan, the developments in Syria. So we really expect him to really say quite a lot in terms of these global challenges.
So António Guterres meeting with the Sherpas and then meeting with President Ramaphosa off to Lesotho. So do we know anything more about what else is going to be on that agenda? We obviously know that climate change is a big one, but anything else that we need to take note of?
So what we do understand so far is that obviously he's also going to pay a courtesy call to Minister Lamola, once again reaffirming South Africa's G20 priorities around the global solidarity. But also when it comes to Lesotho, the issue of climate change once again will take center stage, especially given all the challenges facing Lesotho. But we do understand there's quite a number of issues will really feature in terms of his agenda, in terms of, just so many issues that are facing the African continent, but also so many parts of the world as well, especially because we know that, for example, it was the International Human Rights Day globally yesterday, where it really spoke about the gross violation of human rights. So these are very pertinent issues, Sakina.
Indeed they are. Kaya, as I leave you to go and not join Leanne in Sandton, but also go to Sandton.
Follow the sun.
Follow the sun all the way to Sandton to find out what is in store for us today there in that Sherpas meeting. Thank you so much. And that, of course, Khayelihle Khumalo, and he'll be keeping us up to speed with those developments around the visit of the UN Secretary General and, of course, the G20 Sherpas meeting in Sandton.